Ready for season 1 now?
Always ready. I don't like the cold weather, but that's all right.
And it's terrible here.
Yeah, it's down in the single digits tonight here, and it got down to like 3 degrees last night here.
Yeah, we were below 0 this morning here in Indianapolis. Stupid.
Yeah, we had some pretty bad winds last night, which caused it to get down to like negative 15 degrees with the wind chill.
That's nuts. Hey, Greg, welcome.
Thanks, Julie.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Tim, are you still there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. Stream seems to be good. Let's get this fireside chat started here in a few minutes. Got all my wireless.
I have to ask you, did you see what they did at the airport for the All-Star game? So the middle rotunda of the airport they've got a full court, legit basketball arena now.
That's awesome.
All the fans coming in, apparently. Yeah, I'll send you a picture after the call.
Pretty neat.
Pretty neat. Got all kinds of people here, Tim. Got T. McGraw, Greg C., R3 Noble, Cato, R. Miller, Parker, formerly known as Optimus Rhyme, I think. PUT man.
That's on the down low.
Oh, okay. They create a new identity.
Now you're exposed. It's on YouTube now. It's AI's already grabbed it. You might as well go back. Well, we'll give it just a couple more minutes, see if people hop on, and then we'll jump into it. I don't know that it's anything super formal. Just wanted to give everybody a chance to hop on with us. We'll go through the rules and then do the draw for week 1 at the end. But Kyle, thanks for putting 95 to 99% of this stuff together. R3 Noble and I appreciate it. Kyle's doing the heavy lifting, but we're I guess more competition committee than anything. So
Can't hear you.
yeah, CPUT main.
I'm trying to figure out if I can mute him.
I don't know. Yeah, we got it. There you went on mute.
Yeah, so I don't know if he was trying to talk to us, we couldn't hear him, or if he didn't realize he wasn't on mute.
And I'm going to focus you, which I think works for the stream. I might have changed my picture a little bit, but then anybody else who's on, if they want to focus on my camera, you'll see Kyle and myself. Just right click on me and hit focus, and then you probably get the best experience. This will be out on YouTube as well. Kyle, you can probably see my screen as well, so I don't know if you want to kick it off and walk through it, or I'm happy to. Either way is good to me.
I'll open it up. I kind of figured you'd run some of this as well, but
Yep.
yeah, welcome everybody to season 1. We had a 6-week pilot season that I think it went really well. We got really good feedback. We got some suggestions. We tried to make some changes. So overall, really excited to do this. I think everyone knows what Mashup is at this point, but our intention is some of us are involved in like weekly clubs or men's clubs, and it's just a lot of fun, different formats every week. And so we're like, well, why don't we bring that to sim golf? And there's so many great formats and a lot of good team formats, 2-man, 3-man stuff. So that's what we try to do. So, Tim, you want to talk about the logistics a little bit? How many guys we've got, how it runs week to week?
Yep, absolutely. So just so you guys know, I think you'd know by now, but Kyle, myself, I'm Tim, and then R3 Noble is out there as well. We're the admin team, so if you need anything, you can ping us on Discord. So basically, we've got 42 guys this season. That's great because we need a multiple of 6 because we're doing 1, 2, and 3-man formats. So you'll see the schedule; it's already posted. One asterisk there. There's a off chance we might be able to do a shamble at some point, so stay tuned. We've got a contingency plan to flex that in. I don't think that's going to break anybody's heart because that's a fun format, but that is in development with GS Pro, SGT. We just don't know when it's going to hit. It could be during the season, it may not. So just a heads up there. We're going to do 8 weeks of a regular season. This is week to week. You pay your $9 or $10 a week. It comes out to you're winning your pool prize pool money's basically week to week instead of a season long. So if you miss a week, it's not the end of the world. You're not out of a season running for anything at this point. Stay tuned. Seasons moving forward, we might have that option, but we're sticking with week to week for now. And then we've got a 9th week for a member event, which will be a match play, best ball format, doing a pool play. We'll get to some of that later, which will be pretty cool. Kyle and I actually played in one of these at his club, not together, but against each other. The Thorn, it's on the hat. He won it this summer, and it's just a great format, so we wanted to kind of recreate that here with the group as well. There'll be blind draw and pick your partner weeks, so stay active on Discord, at least be looking and checking things. If you've got a way to get notifications or keep that on your phone, please do, because there will be times where you need to pick your own partner. Makes sense when we've got different time zones and things like that, so people can find someone to play with. And then there will be weeks like week 1 where it will be a blind draw. We will equally divide A, B, and C players, or A and B players, depending on the format when that happens. So another thing here is T-lengths, right? We're trying to hit that SGT window, not pro, not web, but anywhere between 6,000, 6,400 is the goal. It could waver a little bit, beyond that. Already touched on prize money a little bit. Kyle, feel free to jump in on any of this you want. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is I was just looking, the total pot size this year is $4,158. It's $99 times. Well, I'm sorry, that's the total payment, not the full pot. The full, because of the admin fee. Let's see, 42 times 9 would be the pot amount. So the amount that we'll be paying out is $3,780, which is pretty cool. A lot of good money to hand out. We did all that last year. In addition to that, we're going to be funding some things as the admin team. If there is a hole-in-one, there's a hole-in-one bonus, pot bonus. We have in the rules. Last year in the pilot season, we also did a couple of Easter eggs. So we saw something that was kind of cool. We threw a small amount of money towards somebody and just kind of rewarded them for that. We may not be doing that every single week, but when we see something, we hope to hand some of those out as well.
Handicaps. Kyle, you want to touch on what's different than last season?
There's really two. So it's a net matchup's a net event. I think everyone understands what that means, right? Everyone carries a handicap. There's really 2 ways you can do it. You either just play off your actual handicap, and that is plus and minus handicaps. And I know we do them backwards in SGT. Right? A plus handicap outdoors is actually a minus handicap indoors. But when you've got guys that are on both sides of scratch, what ends up happening is if you just go straight with the cap, the guys that are above scratch, let's see here, plus, I'm getting it confused. Plus handicaps in SGT, you end up getting pops on the index number 1, number 2, number 3, and so forth. And if you're minus handicaps in SGT, then you're giving back pops on index number 18, 17, 16. So that's what we did in the pilot season. As we evaluated it and talked to a number of guys, we actually feel like because of the number of people that are under scratch in sim golf, it was inconsistent. And there's holes that play really hard outdoors are not always the holes that play really hard indoors. So the other way to do handicaps and the way in which we will do them here in season 1, and again, we'll reevaluate at the end of the season, is we're taking the lowest guy in the field every week, whoever that is. That person will be set as 0. Then everyone is adjusted from there. So right now, the guy that's at 0 right now in week 1, he's a minus 10, right? So you would then take 10 strokes and add it to him to get him to 0, and then 10 to everybody else. So that means if you're a scratch golfer, you would now get 10 handicap shots. You would become a 10. I know that's a little bit confusing. We'll try to explain that as much as we can. This is pretty common for outdoor golf where they set everyone off of the low man. And that's what we'll be doing here. And then we'll reevaluate that. That at least will be consistent in terms of the different holes that people end up getting handicap strokes on.
Yeah, and I
So-
think the main point there is the fact that if you're below scratch, right? If you were a negative handicap in SGT, you're not going to give strokes back on the easiest holes. That really is just a wonky way to like even interpret like as you go through a match like, oh, I got to give a stroke back on 18, 17, 16. And the reality is in sim golf there are far more players that are better than scratch than in real life. So, it's just going to make it more consistent. Everybody's getting pops. Nobody's giving strokes back on any holes. It just makes it a lot cleaner, once you understand the concept there. So,
Yeah, the impact across the entire field is still the same.
Yeah.
It's just we're sliding everybody, so it should be mathematically the same benefit or drawback from the really, really good or the not so good golfers, right?
It's easier and more fair, right? And that's kind of the goal here. I hope everybody sees that. The three of us put a lot of time into figuring out the most fair way to do this. It's not a ton of money. There is money on the line. A couple things, right? We're trying to find the most fair way to do things. It's a net event. We want your feedback. So that's first and foremost. Two, like we've all been a part of leagues and events where people sandbag. Don't do that. We don't think anybody's doing it. We actually vetted quite heavily people that could have been, or even people trying to cram rounds in at the last minute to get in the league. If we didn't feel like their handicap is representative of what they actually play to, they may not have gotten in the league. We'll just say that. So we are, we want it to be fair. Don't be a dick. Don't sandbag. Like that's all we're saying. Just come out, play your best. It's $9-10 a week. So that's the spirit of this whole thing. There's no real like manufacturing handicaps or anything. So I'm not too shy to go out and say that in the spirit of the league. Just come out, have fun, compete every week. That's why it's week to week, and I think it's better off that way. So thank you to everyone for having integrity when it comes to your SGT caps. Makes it a better experience for all. Moving on, streaming requirements. We can help you figure out your streams if you're not streaming professionals. I think we've got it down. We're live right now, I hope. Realistically, guys, you have to stream. You have to post your stream before your round. That way we know that you're playing, you're not stopping, restarting, throwing out rounds, etc. Please have your golf ball, preferably you, in the stream. We need to see almost all, at least the important parts of your SGT window as well. So you're going to stream the SGT window, you're going to stream your camera. We need to see the golf ball. That simply makes sure people aren't teeing it up in the fairway, that you're actually the person hitting the shot, things like that. It's really like, not trying to be nitpicky, but there is money on the line, so we got to be fair to everybody. So that's just the way it is. One thing we've kind of added that I think hasn't been out there as far as streaming is concerned, if you don't post your stream before you start, or if you don't stream, there's a consequence to that in that you cannot, your score can count, you can play again, and it will count, but you cannot improve your score. So if you play around and they automatically get entered into SGT on the back end from a software perspective, you don't stream, even if you post that stream after, there was no way to validate that it was you playing, etc. So if you play again, you have to play again to qualify your score, and your lowest score will count. Just kind of is what it is. You could have a great score and go tie that, but that's just the only way logistically. If you really get into a bunch of scenarios, we can ensure that everybody's doing it the right way. So remember to post your stream in the matchup channel, the matchup streaming channel. Feel free to jump in one of these live rooms, especially if you're playing with other players. We just added those yesterday or today, so that we could have those at our disposal to use for live matchups as well. That does not constitute as streaming, just being in the room, but makes it so the league can kind of pop in and spectate. If people are playing and you pop in the room, please go on mute, right? Like, don't interfere with people. If you know who they are, you want to chat them up, that's cool, but just be respectful when spectating other folks' rounds.
Oh. Hey, Tim, we lost your document screen share. We just see an Elgato logo now. we still see you. But hey, the other thing I'd say about stream, yeah, there it is. We talk about we need to make sure that people aren't cheating or teeing up the ball. But to be honest, the stream is used more often to protect you. You have like a ghost read. You have something weird happen, and we need to correct your score. I'd say 9 out of 10 times, if not 99 out of 100 times, the stream is to help you, not to penalize you. So that's why it's super important as well. Also, when you do team events, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can each individually stream on your own, or you can all get into a Discord lobby and one of you can stream. If one of you streams, that's fine. We just need to make sure we see both or all three of your video feeds. And so it's up to you guys how you want to do that.
And if anybody needs help with that, like right now, I'm actually grabbing Kyle's webcam out of Discord, feeding it through to my stream, and then back out to YouTube. So if you look on my camera in Discord or on YouTube, you'll see him as well. So there is a way to, in OBS, just grab someone else in your Discord rooms, their webcam as well. So moving on, leaderboard.
If you're not comfortable with that, someone on your team probably is, so just let them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Leaderboards, they're on the SGT website. If you haven't seen it, Mashup is actually in there with all of the other tours. So we're pretty official, which is awesome. There is the custom Google sheet that is out there that Kyle has shared. That's where a lot of the scoring is going to happen, just because we're doing both team events and then formats that aren't supported on the back end by SGT. So maybe someday that'll all be caught up, but as it stands for now, a lot of the scoring, bookkeeping is all happening in Google Sheets, which is pinned in the Mashup channel. So feel free to take a look at that.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
So we did have a Google Sheet for season 0 or the pilot season. I've not actually posted the new season 1 just because we won't need the Google Sheet until week 2.
Yep.
But it'll be coming.
And we may find a way to port that to a website or something that's a little easier to digest. This is a work in progress, so appreciate the patience. But we'll get that posted after we start seeing different formats. So for substitutions, guys, because we have both singles, doubles, and 3-man teams for different events, if we have someone that can't play on a given week, just let us know with as much time in advance as possible. We will then pull one of our dedicated subs. I'm sure you guys have played in golf leagues or bowling leagues or things like that, where there is a list of substitutes. They have vetted handicaps. They were actually people that were interested in the league that just couldn't commit to every week. And so we've got a bench of, I think, 4 or 5 folks that are willing and able to step in to make sure we have even teams, so we don't have to do anything about sharing scores or, last season just Kyle and I just sat out if we needed to make it even. So we should not have any situations where there are uneven teams for the 2 or 3-man events. So just so everybody knows, if there's someone you see on the leaderboard or whatever that's not typically involved, and those people can show up. If you paid the entry fee, these people are playing on your dime, just so you know. So your $10 is going to fund their play that week, and they can walk away with some winnings, if they should happen to win. But that's the way to keep this as fair as possible. And actually, we appreciate those folks doing that. So I don't know if any of them are out there today, but thank you guys for doing that. Tiebreakers. Kyle, I think
I want to talk about the substitution situation if it happens at the end of the week and somebody can't be found and we didn't know about it, because that did happen once last year. It will probably happen over 8 weeks. So you're on a 3-man team. You've got an A, a B, and a C player, let's say, and it's a 3-man best ball. That's what we're doing in week 1. And for whatever reason, like your C man says, hey, yeah, I'm going to play Saturday. I can't play with you guys on Wednesday. And it gets to be Saturday, and all of a sudden you don't see him. You don't hear from him. We don't hear from him. And the end of the week happens, and that person has not played. Well, we don't think that's fair to penalize the A and B player. So in that situation, what we will do is whoever that player is that did not show up. So let's say in this case, that example, it's a C player. Take the other 13 C players, and we'll do a random draw of one of those guys, and we'll pick his scorecard up, and he will then also be on another team. In essence, he'll be on 2 teams. That person actually ends up becoming a little bit lucky that week, because his scorecard would be on two teams, and then we would see what the impact to that score is on that team. So that's another really good reason to play out every hole, even in a best ball event. You never know when you might get picked up and also added to another team. And we can't really think of any other fair way of doing that. If you have any great ideas, we're always open to that. But it did work out last season, and it will probably need to be invoked at some point this year, would be my guess.
Yep, we hope not, but if it does, so be it.
The last thing I would say is in a pick your partner event, like a scramble or an alt shot type of thing, because you're picking your partner wisely, somebody you can trust, somebody on the same time zone. And if the two of you can't get together and play that, that's the one type of format that we will not do anything at the end of the week. At the beginning of the week, if something happens and you know that you can't, or we've got odd numbers, then we'll call on the sub.
Yeah, because there are formats like a scramble. Obviously, we can't sub anybody in, so that's just the reality of it. And we've tried to match those formats with pick your partner versus blind draw, so that we don't run into that. So the odds are there's only a few weeks out there where that scenario could come into play. Tiebreakers. I don't think we do anything fancy, right? We're splitting the pot. If you have two tie for first, you split first and second money evenly. If it's a three-way tie, first, second, third, you split it first, second, third, three ways evenly, just like you'd see on like a PGA Tour event if, say, there was no playoff. So for second, or say if there was it's like second and third tied, they would split 2 and 3 money. So no tiebreaker holds in the regular season.
I don't know if you said this earlier, Tim, but we will post the payouts prior to each week being started. So here's how much first we'll get, second we'll get, third we'll get, and so forth. So we all know that before the week starts, and we'll stick to that so that there's no question.
Yep. We'll keep moving here. I know we're 20 minutes in or so, but we were targeting a half hour. I think we'll be close to that. So when you play, you got to play in one sitting, right? We can't come and go and come back and play because your swing's not there that day. We had some issues with that in Dogfight and some other formats. So please, if you start your round, even if you suck that day, just finish it out. If you have technical difficulties, and Kyle and I are pretty techie guys, so we've got pretty good idea. I guess we can pull the plug on your router, but don't do that. Just play your round out. Let us know if you can't. If you have a technical difficulty, I've had them. All sorts of things, graphics cards, internet, whatever. Please restart your round as soon as you can, if at all possible. One thing also, guys, when you're doing your streams, please monitor your streams. Like pull it up on your phone, put it on your laptop, a TV, another screen in the room, on YouTube, and make sure it's running properly. I have an issue that occasionally rears its head where I'll just lose frames. It'll go down to like 1 frame per second. It's really not a good experience. At that point we almost have to not count it. So just make sure your stream's live. Sometimes they crash. OBS can crash, whatever. So if you see right here, I've got my iPad running my Air keyboard, which I'm pseudo famous for, I guess, at this point. But then below that is where I snap my phone in and I pull the stream up, and I just make sure I'm checking that. Every hole I look down and make sure it's there. It's actually kind of nice because every shot you hit, if you want to see something over again, you glance over at that, it's coming at you 30 seconds later. So monitor your streams, make sure they're good quality, and you can see everything we need, and they don't drop. Sim drops, guys. You have to try to get out of trouble one shot, right, Kyle? And then if you take a shot from the woods and you don't get out on your second try, you can take a sim drop. If you're not familiar with sim drops, I think everybody is. Everybody plays a good amount of SGT rounds. Let us know. We can help you with that. That effectively makes a sim drop a 2-stroke penalty. You can't launch it in the woods or take a shortcut and then go drop it somewhere else. Also, I think it's in our rules. If not, I'll clarify, Kyle. Can't take a sim drop onto the green. That's very rare, but it does happen. And sometimes you're on these crazy courses like Medalist or Hopi where you got a funky green and people do weird things to try to get the ball to stay up there. So is that in effect here, or Kyle?
Yes, I actually don't think we've written that in, but we need to do that. And we can make a quick post about that. Yeah, the way that that's manifested itself in the past is somebody's in a really nasty bunker and they know they can't get out of it, so they sit and drop onto the green. It's like, that's not golf, guys.
Yeah.
I think we all know that.
Yeah, spirit of it's if you're stuck in the woods and you're not going to get out in a couple shots, because we've all been there. Take the sim drop after shot 2, and if you don't, and we catch it, we'll just add it. Also, guys, if you're watching other streams, like you don't need to we're not trying to be assholes, for lack of a better term, but we're kind of policing each other. People are gonna watch your streams, just be honest about things, and it'll all be good. You don't want to get called out for cheating in any way, just because you don't. We talked about ineffective streams already. Nobody else can play for you. I actually played in a blitz recently where someone just had somebody else play the back 9 for them. So can't do that. Felt like that should never have to go in the rules, but it does. And then it's up to us, the 3 of us, R3 Noble, KH, and myself. If anything comes up, we're more than fair, I think, or as fair as humanly possible. We'll go to a 3-man vote or, make some decisions around things that pop up. We are trying to do the best we can. It's not always easy to please people. We had a really successful pilot. I'm in some other sim golf leagues. It's not always that amicable across the board, so we're just trying to do our best to get ahead of it. Communication lines are open, guys. Hit us up if you think something's not fair. We could change it this year. Very likely to change it next year if it makes sense. So just want to keep reiterating that. We talked a little bit about the member. At the end of the 8-week season, week 9 will be pick your partner. We're going to play, depending on how the teams shake out, you'll play pool play, which are 9-hole matches. We'll pick a course. I think we're going to use the front and back of whatever course that is instead of just 1-9 to keep it interesting. At the end of that pool play, the winners of each flight, right, will get out and go to a shootout. And that shootout will I think the details are in the rules, but you'll progress through holes where the highest score for each hole gets eliminated, and we'll progress until there's one team remaining, which is a really fun format. We'll try to make a little bit of a spectacle about that. Everyone will play live for that final event, so we'll get that scheduled at some point. During the week we won't have to, but for this shootout we will. So Kyle, I know that was kind of your baby. I don't know if you got anything to add there, but
we have a really fun idea for this. It's in our heads right now. We think we can pull it off. We're going to need a little bit of grace, and we're going to have to share a whole lot of details when we get there, because there's going to be a lot of stuff kind of in Google Sheets. And then specifically once we get into the shootout, and we will explain this to the teams that make the shootout, it's going to be some kind of weird stuff where we're going to have to drop teams out of the event after each hole, and not so much hang them up, but we're going to have to do a little bit of testing with the GS Pro software and so forth. So we will explain that very clearly as we get close. All I'd say to you right now, start thinking about who you want to be partners with. It's never too early to start thinking about your member partner. Maybe you meet someone during the season because you don't know anyone yet, and you ask them in week 3, hey man, I had a lot of fun. You want to be my member partner at week 9? Let's start getting that lined up so we're not in the middle of week 8 and everybody's scrambling trying to find a partner. So, and then just stay tuned. We'll do another member players meeting. We'll post all kinds of information, probably even a 1 or 2 page document about it itself. It's going to be super cool. We have never pulled it off, so it is my favorite thing to do in real life golf. If you've ever played a member guest or a member, as Tim said earlier, it's a ton of fun. If not, go try to find one. They're a blast.
Yep. Cool. I think that's all we had to go through on the agenda. We did want to open up for Q&A, so we'll do that. I'm going to step off camera here and then tee up the blind draw for week 1, but I'll be able to hear you speak back, and then you got Kyle here as well. So I think C. Putman is the only one that we've muted. Don't know if we're past that, but anybody else come off mute, ask any questions you got, guys.
I unmuted him.
Questions.
Go ahead, Greg.
A couple questions. First, with you spoke about handicaps earlier. When we actually take a gross score and it's not a format where we're scrambling alt shot, will those count toward our handicaps?
Yeah. So towards your combo handicap?
Yeah.
Yes. So any format that we play in these 8 weeks actually is a individual level format. So let's talk about week one up to three. All three of you are playing your own full 18 holes. You can do it together. You can do it on your own. Each of those will be a handicap qualifying round, and if it's one of your best 8 out of 20, it'll log in your 20. If it's not, it'll be one of your 20 and it just won't be counted.
Okay, perfect. I'm a little better when there ain't no pressure. So, trying to. Anyway, thanks clearing that up. Secondly, he said about the sim job. He said if I hit it into the woods on my first shot, my second shot is my first attempt out of the woods. My third shot can be the sim drop, or he later said after the second attempt. So it's my second shot, which is my first attempt out of the woods, third shot, which is my second attempt out of the woods, then I can drop the full. Can you just clarify that?
Yeah, so your drive goes into the woods. You're deep in there, and there's no chance of getting out. You have to try one shot. Right?
Okay.
But take your best shot. If you're still in the woods, then you can sim drop. That makes it a 2-stroke penalty, almost like an out of bounds type of shot. Now, if you want to take 3 or 4 shots at it out of the woods, you can just keep going. And after the third or fourth or fifth, then you could sim drop if you wanted. But yeah, you have to try to escape with one shot.
Okay, I was just clarifying because he used the term after your second attempt. So I just wanted to make sure that was
No,
one attempt shot out of the woods, drop out of the woods, and then don't take their chance.
that's right. Yeah, technically after your first recovery attempt, probably after your and of course you're right. So one attempt out, and then you can sim drop.
Thank you. And my last question, just because of quirk that I can't figure out, is there a way to mute when people enter the room but you don't get that ding? It seems to happen in the middle of my swing.
I don't know if anyone else knows. I assume Discord's probably got a setting somewhere on that, like notification setting, but to be honest, I've not looked into it.
And it's hard to mute your TV because you're talking to your team and then everybody. Because at the end of the blitz, that's what you're saying. At the end of the blitz, if you're still playing, you have a chance. 15 people start running to your room, and all those things are kind of catching your attention sometimes.
I've heard them. Yeah. I tell you what, I'll take a look afterwards, unless anyone else knows that wants to jump in and say, and if I find anything, I'll ping it out to the group.
Right, thanks for the clarification.
Thanks, Greg. Any other questions?
With the head cap shift, so you said the lowest player is -10. If somebody is like, I'm a +8, so I move up to 18. But if someone's a 9 or a 10, does that mean they're getting 20 shots on a on?
And I've seen this in real life. Like I've got guys in my club that are like a 25 handicap, right? So the way that works is you get 1 on all 18. It goes back again. So if you get 19, you actually get 2 shots on index number 1. If you're a 20, you get 2 shots on index number 2. I don't. Well, we may end up with that. I think we range from a -10 to a +11. But we also are enacting either 80% or 90% rules. So like I got everyone's handicaps ready for week 1, and we will not have any of that because the 80% takes the -10 down to a -8, and it takes the 11 down to a 9. So we only have a 17 stroke spread for this week. But yeah, Parker, you're right. That's the way that it would play out.
Okay.
Yep, and ask me how I know, right? When I played in actually Kyle's member guest, my teammate was the worst guy in the field, and he was like playing off like 32, so he got double, triple pops. He actually triple popped maybe on a couple holes, but he double popped on like almost every hole. He won a skin and he had a 2 for 0 on a par 3, which made a lot of people really happy. Let me tell you. Cool. What other questions we got, guys? All right. Well, chat's still open. Discord's always open. So you guys let us know if you got any feedback. We'll also post a link. We are streaming this, so we'll put that out there. I think I am doing this right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna draw 3 groups. So basically, I've got all the A players will be listed here. I'm gonna divide it into 14 teams, so it'll be teams 1 through 14. We'll screenshot that. We'll go to group 2. That'll be all the B players. We'll do the same thing with different names. We'll screenshot that, and same thing with C players, and then we will pair them all up. So all you're doing here is just watching us randomize the A, B's, and C's, and then we'll match them up based on how they were randomized, if that makes any sense. So I'm probably going to step off camera here to do this just because it's a little bit easier, and then I'll paste that into the Discord room actually right now, and then we'll formalize it and get it in the sheet.
So the way that we do A, B's, and C's while he's going ahead and running this is we basically just stack ranked everyone best handicap to lowest handicap. And so the top 14 are A's, the middle 14 are B's, and the bottom 14 are C's. So he's going to run the A's right now. Take a screenshot of that. You can see we got 14 groups up there. For example, Stegoth's in group 1, Keymart's in group 14. He'll do the B's, and so you have to match yourself up. So kind of look for your name, but we'll clarify all of this for you. It's kind of hard to read on the stream. In about 15, 20 minutes, we'll have all of it posted out there for you guys, and then we'll get them loaded tonight so you guys can start playing tomorrow if you need to. I think the B's are getting pasted in now. Yep, that looks like the right group because I see my name in there. Right. Screenshot that. See, I'm in group 9 with Clover Links Golf. Got it? And I know Tim's off camera in his closet or something. He'll paste the C players in here too. All right. So hopefully you've been able to at least see or find your name here on the resolution. But if not, give us a few minutes and we'll get it posted up there in the channel.
Thanks, guys.
Go ahead, Greg.
Just said thank you. Have a good night.
You just said thanks. All right. Yeah, have a good night. Yeah, we'll stick around if you guys have any other questions. Otherwise, drop off. And again, like you have a question, just you can send us a DM if it's kind of a private question. If you think it's a question everyone benefits from, put it in the general tab. We'll roll from there. Be a fun season.
Yep. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, guys.
Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
You guys run it. Thank you.